We're live. We're live. Yeah, we're live. Welcome, Inspired Instagram Live series with your host, Julie Cooper. And today we have a beautiful, beautiful guest, Natalie Valle. It's my absolute honor to bring her into this space and to celebrate her genius, her love through sound and the graceful healing properties of sound. So, for those who are new to this format, I do a beautiful introduction of our incredible guest. I can't wait to bring her on board, and then we drop into the space. We're able to share. Ultimately, Inspired is all about it's for our creative entrepreneurs blazing their own pathways, and this is a space for me to share the beautiful humans in my life that have inspired me, so that way we can all be inspired. Yes. Crowd goes wild. So yes, please hang out, come chill. For those who are watching this live, welcome. Yay! And for those who are tuning in on the replay, amazing. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to welcome in our beautiful guest, Natalie, who I'm so excited to bring on. Share the juiciness of sound. Here she is. Hi, Natalie.
Hi, babe. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm so good. How are you?
I am so good. It's been a busy day of interacting and connecting and also re-entering the Instagram live space. It's so funny that today was the day that we ended up rescheduling for, and it was my first day doing an Instagram live in a very long time. So it just feels very kismet.
Ooh, I love that. The synergy, right?
Mhm.
When you're ready to show up and then the ball just starts rolling. And here we
Exactly.
are.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so nice to connect. And congratulations on your live today as well. Welcome
Thank
back.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's so good to connect with you too. I love the bridging of our worlds as we connected through our coaching cohort with Natalia.
Right? I absolutely love that cohort and that container that we all just get to vibe and to share and to grow and to really connect. So, how cool. Especially
Yeah,
from across the world as well. This is what I love about the magic of creating connections as creatives as well from other sides of the world.
absolutely. And I'm
Right?
so grateful. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, of course. Of course. It's an absolute honor. So, thank you for tuning in on your Thursday night, right?
Yeah.
So beautiful. So, for those who are watching or tuning in, I wanted to do an introduction for Natalie so we can actually start to just feel and understand. And you're probably wondering who she is. And so, Natalie Valle is a sound bath Reiki meditation goddess. Like, she is, I love every time on our calls as well. I've always been like, who is this bloody sunshine that just like glows and say, I've just been at Burning Man, or I just, like you just there's this energy. It's like floating
Mm,
honey. Oh, it's so delicious and so radiant. And I know that especially as creatives who are blazing their own pathways, we do thrive for this radiance and this aliveness in our bodies and this grounding of who we really are in this world.
mhm.
And what I love about Natalie is that she embodies this, the thriving, the radiance, the here, the now, the being. And what's beautiful is her modalities are all in the space of sound
Mhm.
and Reiki, and you can just feel that beautiful energy that she radiates. So
Well,
thank
thank you,
you so
Rob.
much for coming on board.
Thank you. And as much as you share those beautiful words, I receive and I'm so grateful that that's the reflection. And it's a practice, right? It's not every day that I wake up feeling this way. It's a commitment to my practice that enables me to show up in a way where I can be sweet like honey authentically, but not always, right? Like I'm human and I have my moments where I'm thrown off my kilter. And it's taken me over the years developing just my self-awareness to be like, oh wait, this isn't my authentic expression, this being irritated, being annoyed, right? Let me come back to that frequency of love, that frequency of centeredness, of presence. And my practices are really what allow me and support me in doing that, and being able to show up that way.
And I love that. I love that, just reflecting that back, the commitment to showing up, using your modalities to really heal and to be in this essence that you've created. And it's a sense of practice as well. So on that note, what are, like, please, what would sound being your, the modality, what inspires you to bring this into the world?
Yeah, for me, my first experience with sound, it's funny, it actually goes back to shows and going to music festivals and feeling the vibration of the bass in my body, and realizing what a shift in my vibration that would create, whether it was exciting or I would want to dance, or, just enjoy with people and commune in that way, and bringing it into more of the lane of mindfulness. My very first sound bath was the first time I experienced slipping into what is known as the gap, right? We in meditation consider the gap that space in between the thoughts, and honoring that the mind is going to do what the mind does, which is think. And that's okay. And we shouldn't try to make the mind stop thinking, because that's what the mind is designed to do. And also, there are, hi, babe.
Yes.
And there are these little gaps in between each thought. And the more that we can cultivate that awareness to become just cognizant of them, the more that we can begin to widen that gap. And once we're able to really play with that space, we can tap into what is spirit, what is source, what is infinite potentiality. It lives in the gap. It lives in the space of no thing, no time. And that's getting super esoteric. But to answer your question, my first experience with sound was being able to drop into that space where I didn't have thought, I didn't have.
I love that. Like, what's happening in the background? And so, for those who are watching, and she's back.
I'm back. So yes, just to close that thought, that was my first experience in a sound bath. And at the time, of course, I didn't have the vocabulary to understand what was going on. I just remember feeling like, wow, my mind is still, and I feel that inner quietness and that inner peace. And at the time, I'd been practicing meditation and getting into my meditation practice, and I was kind of hitting a wall with just silent sitting meditation. And it wasn't until that first sound bath that I was like, oh, I get it. I get it now. And that's the power of sound. Sound is so universal, and it's able through a process called entrainment, which is the influence of, through entrainment, it can entrain our brain waves to actually slow down, which is what makes it possible for that thinking mind, that monkey mind, to begin to just take a seat, to chill out, right?
Oh, I love that. I love that, because it's, the beginning inspiration of having the festivals and the music that moves you, right? And then actually tapping into that frequency and wondering, okay, cool, I'm in meditation, but I'm getting a bit, like hitting a wall, because you're like, that's so silent. And then introducing sound as a sound bath to really open up and go, wow, there are like so many different layers. We can drop into the no thing, the esoteric vibes of just being and bliss, really, because there's nothing that's noisy or confronting or wanting or demanding something from you. You can just be.
Yeah.
And then the curiosity to explore that. Of course you'd be inspired. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So now you've created this entire community based around sound and healing, and working with corporates as well. And that's what I love about what you do. It's like, how do we take this to the mainstream in that sense, you know, and make it a trend and make it popular, because it's so effortless in creating the space of being for those who are always doing. So
Absolutely.
I love that inspiration, and I love that because you're feeling and hearing the call.
Absolutely. And I think sound is something that it transcends cultures, it transcends language, it transcends experience, because when we experience sound audibly and it stimulates an emotional response, that in itself is so powerful. And B, we not only experience sound audibly, yes, we hear it, but we also experience sound through skin conduction, through bone conduction. So at the physiological level, it is a full body experience.
Yeah. And that's interesting because we don't give sound enough credit. And it's so incredibly potent, you know, us being, you know, water and then having that vibration through us.
Yeah.
That's so incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
But you can't, the thing is, right, with sound, you can't buy it off a shelf, or you can't, you know, it's not prescribed. So it's, you know, I mean, you could buy a CD, for example, but the physical essence of sound and how it vibrates, and it's like air, it's like, you can't see it, you can feel it though.
Yeah.
And that comes down to the space of being in your body to feel.
Absolutely.
You know, allowing yourself to feel. So,
yeah.
I love that. And so what are the breakthroughs that you've witnessed? You know, you've worked with a lot of clients, you do training programs as well. What are the breakthroughs? Like, what is the biggest breakthrough that you've experienced for those who are working with sound in their healing journey?
You know, there are so many different experiences that people share, from seeing visuals to seeing colors to feeling out of body to feeling like they shifted into a different dimension. But the biggest thing for me, honestly, and it's so simple and it's my favorite thing, it's that look in people's face, that shift from the person that sits down to receive when they enter the meditation space, when they come to a class. You know, they're so kind of in their thinking mind, not really in their body. Maybe they are, but most people are not, right? They just battle traffic through LA to get to the studio. You know, they're so in that fight or flight response, and they're so tense. And then seeing that shift when I finally bring them out of it and have them open their eyes, and it is that look of like you said, it's honey. It's like this like sense of sweetness, this sense of vulnerability, almost childlike. And even though it's so simple, I would say that is the biggest breakthrough that I see in people, because it's so real. It's so authentic. It's not, and they're not even aware of it. They're not even aware of their body language, of the expression on their face, of just their overall vibrancy when they come out of an experience like that. And I think it just goes to show the depth to which sound baths and any experience that really just allows you to come back to your center can have on a person. And then just what that does for that person's life, the rest of their day, the rest of their interactions, you know, it's ripple effects.
Yes. And I think that's the beauty of this work, is seeing that transformation of someone who can come in, you know, battling traffic, and then suddenly, you know, as they leave, and that's what we're here to see, is that transformation, in the sense that they leave feeling like honey, that innocence, that there is that softness, and receiving that's something that's quite big, right?
Yeah.
To actually go, I'm going to do this to receive. And I'm worthy of receiving this. And being able to just, you know, allow yourself to receive the power of sound and that healing properties. And so it's, I love that. And that is a massive breakthrough, especially because it creates a ripple effect. When that person goes home, they're going to, you know, be able to greet their partners or family or even pets and be like, hey, I am grounded.
Exactly. Exactly. And the thing is, it's like, when a person greets you in that way, we are likely to respond in the same way because of mirror neurons. So if you have somebody that enters a space where they're vibrating at such a high frequency, they are emitting peace and harmony and love and grace, two things happen. One, at an energetic level, they begin to infuse that space with that frequency, right? So at the subtle level, a lot is already happening. And two, through mirror neurons, right? Let's talk science, let's talk physiological effects. When somebody greets you with a warm smile, with an open heart, with body language that's welcoming, we naturally are like, okay, I feel safe. I can put my guard down. I am going to respond in the same way, right? And then think about just the domino effect that has, because then that person leaves that interaction in that state and greets the next person in that state, right? So it's disrupting this pattern of our society nowadays where we're maybe not used to so much social interaction and we're more fearful of people, or we're just constantly in fight or flight, so we don't even give ourselves the ability to greet someone from an open-hearted space, right? And when somebody gives you that gift, it's the gift that keeps on giving, because then you just continue to pass it along.
Oh, it's a very much a domino effect.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that because it's how you're greeted and then how you're greeting others and how we can connect through that energy that you're emitting.
Yeah.
And again, guys, it's very simple,
Mm-hmm.
and and being able to connect in that way it's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful work that you do, and to be able to hold that space for people that come in and then they can leave with this transformation. It's like, yes, you're doing great. You're doing great, sweetie.
Oh, thanks, honey.
Doing great.
Funny because all of these modalities, we can get so meta with it. We can get so esoteric with it. But at the end of the day, it's just heart medicine. And we all have the capacity to drop into our hearts and lead from a heart-centered place. It just takes awareness, and it takes practice, and it takes the knowledge and understanding of the self to know when we need to self-soothe to come back into that space, right?
Absolutely. And that kind of ties into, how do you feel that, for example, Reiki and sound baths and the power of sound, how do you feel that it can really help creators? That it blazing their own pathways, but
Oh my God, yes.
yeah.
Totally. I mean, the thing about creativity, right? Let's talk about creativity for a moment. Where does creativity come from? It's all imagination. Where does imagination come from, right? It's like we're all living, moving about in this field, this invisible field where everything exists, and we just tap into things unconsciously, and we think there are ideas, but they're not. They're things that are ever present. But the thing is, when we live so much in our heads, when we're forcing, when we're kind of in that conscious state, not the subconscious, the conscious state, we're not accessing that field of infinite potentiality. So modalities that can bring us back into that, coming back into the gap, right? That's where the field of infinite potentiality lives, in that space between the thoughts. So practices that enable us to tap into that state where we are not our ego, we are not our thoughts, we are simply the awareness experiencing the thoughts. That awareness is infinite potentiality. That awareness is what enables us to tap into infinite creativity that we alone couldn't even imagine, right? So these modalities, in terms of helping creatives and entrepreneurs or anybody, I think at this point in time, we are all creatives. We're all creators. And it's such a beautiful thing. And also, when we're creating, it is a spiritual act. it is dancing with spirit, in my humble opinion. So working with modalities that can help us tap into that state where we're out of our thoughts, we're out of our ego, we can tap into something that is an infinite well of ideas, of solutions, of answers that just come to us. All we have to do is receive, put our hands out and receive.
Oh, and it takes a lot of trust, right? To just drop in and receive. Ah, that is stunning. I love that. I love that explanation of creativity, imagination, being able to just step back instead of, so you can just receive this guidance.
Yeah, it's
And then
like that.
Possibilities.
Totally, totally. And they're not, and not to bring, this, there is no dogma tied into anything that I'm saying. There's no religion tied into anything that I'm saying. But there is that cheesy saying, let go and let God. It's like, what does that really mean? It literally means let go and just allow the universe to provide, because it will. If you trust it, if you feel it in your bones and you just let go, the thing is that the human mind is so limited. Think about, we are a rock floating in the cosmos of
A floating ball of water.
Just a little ball of water floating in the cosmos of infinite space. Honey, I appreciate that you are brilliant and I honor how freaking smart you are, but the human mind is so limited. So just let go and trust that the natural unfoldment of your life, of your path, is far bigger than anything that your mind could create.
I'm going to take a moment to just inhale that all in. So whoever's watching, feel free to just inhale and receive that. Feel that in your body. Because that was a beautiful transmission.
Thank you. And for those listening, if it resonates, beautiful. If this is not your philosophy, beautiful. All I'm saying is trust. That's it.
Great. Absolutely. And that is such a, especially for creatives who are, wanting to get more entrepreneurs, is that we are all creators. And that it is to let go and let God and just let go and just know that there is so much potentiality. Our mind, and then including this entire galaxy. It's like, wow, there is so much more. So much more. And the power of imagination and dropping into that space. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And so I actually just wanted to quickly touch, because as a Latina woman, I really wanted to know, as in, how does this, like going into your roots, like how has that inspired your journey?
This is such a big question, and it's so relevant because a part of my journey has, like, the biggest catalyst truly of my journey has been tapping back into my roots. So regardless of where our lineages stem from on this beautiful green earth, all of our ancestors knew that connecting with the earth and moving with her cycles was the only sustainable way to thrive, and being symbiotic with her was the only way for our species to continue to evolve in a way that was sustainable, right? So regardless of your lineage, but for me specifically, tapping back into my roots and connecting with the ancestry of the medicine people from the Mayan culture has been so expansive for me. And I've started to work a lot with cacao, actually, and that's been such a beautiful, heart-opening offering. It's funny because as I kind of move through my journey and evolve into my offerings, evolve as a practitioner, as a student, and a teacher, I'm realizing that all I'm doing is offering heart medicine. You can call it whatever you want. It can be titled whatever modality it is, but all I'm doing is offering heart medicine, is helping people tap into their hearts, because all the intelligence is here. And working with cacao, that is a plant medicine. It's non-psychoactive, but it is a plant medicine that stems from the Amazon and made its way into Mesoamerica and was used in ceremony by Aztecs, by Mayans, by a lot of the Central American indigenous peoples. That has been so deeply grounding, rooting, and expansive for me. And I think for anyone and everyone, it's such a beautiful journey to tap into your ancestry, because there are codes within your DNA that perhaps are dormant because we don't actively engage them in daily life, in today's modern life. But there is so much medicine in every indigenous culture because of the fact that they were so closely connected to the earth, right? So that's really been like, and again, there's so much more I could say about this, but I know that we don't have time, but maybe we can chat about it another time. I'm actually releasing, so fun thing I'm launching soon is a podcast, and I'm actually recording a whole episode around the homecoming to my lineage, my roots, and feeling empowered in that. So I'm excited to share. And I'll definitely do a deep dive on that. But I would encourage everyone listening, connect with your roots and find the medicine within that, because we all carry it and it's all needed.
Absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I can see in the chat, everyone's like, "Whoo, yes." You know, the lineage piece, the grounding, the rooting in into your own roots or your indigenous roots is so incredibly potent. And, you know, being closer to the mother, you know, Mother Earth, and using her medicine to live and breathe and to bring that heart medicine to the world is freaking phenomenal. So thank you so much for sharing. It was just absolutely delicious, an absolute honey experience. And so tell us, how can we work with you? How do we get more of this honey experience?
Thank you, love. Well, first, I just want to say thank you for bringing me onto your community and allowing me to share a little bit of my story and what I do. And at this point, I'm offering sound practitioner training. So for anybody who feels called to work at the modality of sound, I offer trainings both in person here in Malibu, California, and then virtually for people all around the globe. Holding my final virtual training this November for this year. And then next year, I have a lot of travel. So I'm still kind of fleshing out how the timelines will fall, but I have the trainings, launching a mentorship program soon, and then the podcast. So that's, you know, accessibility is so important to me. And I think that podcasting is such a beautiful medium to give people access to these relevant, important, impactful conversations in a way that's free, accessible, digestible, and fun. So keep an eye out for that too.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is amazing. So yes, you can catch Natalie on her social media as well. She's got beautiful practitioner trainings in person and online. I love that. And then all of the podcasts, I cannot wait. Please share when you go live. I'm sure I'll find out anyway. Just
I
being
will. I'll
so we
share.
can celebrate you.
Thank you.
It's
And
really
in true Libra nature, I think my launch date's going to be my birthday. So surprise, I'm a Libra. So I'll post about it. You'll see. But I'm so grateful. Thank you for sharing and supporting.
Absolutely. Yeah, here to just support and love you through this journey, especially as a heart medicine woman and embodying this space. It's so important to share your work because it's heart medicine. Like, what more would you ask for?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And
you're an
thank
absolute
you
dream.
for this platform and inspiring people and educating. It's so beautiful. And from the comments, I can tell that this conversation really resonated with a lot of people. So thank you for having me.
Of course, thank you. Oh, love you so much, Natalie.
Love you
It's really
too.
stunning. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone. Mwah. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in and commented and Thanks, Lillian. Like, thank you for dropping into the space and feeling what needed to, what came up and what resonated. So thank you. Thank you to everyone who's tuning in or watching the replay. Love you all so, so much. Love you, Natalie. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks anyway.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for your podcast launch. Yes, D-Day launch. This is a little dance for you. You're welcome.
I like your dance moves. That's a good one.
Thank you. It's so, it's like very... Oh gosh, well, enjoy your evening. You receive your evening.
You.
We'll touch anyway. Send you so, so much love.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, everybody.
See ya. Bye. Oh, wasn't that beautiful? Oh, she's an absolute, just special, brilliant, wonderful woman. So, yeah, I'm just so grateful for everyone who tuned in, who watched the live, the replay. The replay will be available. So again, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening, morning, afternoon. Until next time.